play arguably the two most important women in Bumpy Johnson's life.
Sure.
Could you talk a little bit about, I don't know, maybe the responsibility of being women around this, big, powerful, patriarchal figure, and how maybe the setting plays into that?
I think for me, it's sort of less about his importance and more about all the ways that he is, in relationship to me, failed. So I think with me, you get to sort of see the flip side. Like, I think in a lot of the series, you see how great he is and what he's done for the community and how strong figure that he paints. And for me, and I think what you get in our relationship is sort of the ways that he's trying to make up for his failings, as few as they may be.
Yeah, and I think it's less about like being strong to kind of stand up to him, and more about being strong because they've chosen each other and they have this partnership that wouldn't work if Mamie weren't as strong as she is. So it's more about them being equals to one another, for one another.
Was there a way of approaching that, considering the 1960s New York City, a very testosterone-driven setting, that made that tricky or difficult or compelling to play?
Did the time period make it more difficult to play a strong woman, or?
Yeah, like with pre-feminine, there's a civil rights era, but really rise of feminism in the later 60s and 70s.
I think we haven't explored that quite yet in the time period, but the characters were written to be these really fierce, strong women. So Chris and Paul gave us the chance not to shy away from being that. 1963, 2019, I think these women were going to be the women that they were.
Yeah, I think it's very intentional because then you can't miss the parallel to right now, right? Like the women who are, like Michelle Obama, like the people who are there creating their own paths and forging their own things. And yes, they're next to these strong, powerful men, but they're also in their own right these great, wonderful, complex human beings. Yeah.
Right, because there are societal pressures, but it doesn't change who
we are
a woman is at
for
her
sure.
core.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think, Bumpy was not a man who wanted the little woman at home cooking his Sunday roast.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Mamie was a homemaker and did do those things, but that was not what he was interested in either. I think he was a businessman and went into his personal relationships looking for people who were as strong and savvy as he was.
And finally, just like in terms of like fashion and style and the cultural sensibilities of the time, was there something that you really appreciated that you're like, oh, we don't have this anymore, or something that you missed from the present day?
So much. I mean, okay, so like the sort of undergarments of it all,
Get rid of them.
Don't miss those. I mean, they cut a cute shape, but it was
no,
too much.
thank you.
But the lines of the dresses, like some of Mamie's dresses in this series are just absolutely
incredible.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
And our costume designer, Joshua Marsh, did a beautiful job of sort of creating the whole time period and really sort of showing the class that Bumpy and Mamie have throughout the series, which is just, it's so beautiful.
And I 2019 walk around in my gym pants like everywhere and every day, but the idea of really getting dressed intentionally is so sweet and so cool. I look at photos of my grandmother from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and in every photo, she's just like, it's an occasion, and she's dressed. And Mamie is the same way, and I imagine Elise will be the same way moving forward.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything, but